All right, everybody. Good morning. Pleasure to see you. Let's see. We got Wick in the chat. We got Wick Tickler. We got Johnny. We got Golfster Gal. We got Johnny saying love Wick's humor. Don't we all? Welcome back, by the way. I wasn't here yesterday. I just, the reason I'm late today, still a little bit sick too. I just got back from like a 27-hour straight drive. I slept for like 5 hours. But I literally got back like last night. And I needed to sleep in a little bit. That was a long drive. But I'm back. We're good. We're chilling. So we made it, and here we are. We got Wick Tickler says I finally got my therapist's diagnosis today. She said terminal immaturity with symptoms of delusional confidence. I said, "Nuh-uh, you're immature." Listen, I know that feeling all too well. My girlfriend actually tells me that too. She's not quite my therapist, although probably is in a way. And yeah, I too have got that sign of terminal immaturity. But you know what? I think we all got to be a little bit like a kid. I mean, can you imagine you put like your 10-year-old kid trading some stocks? They would be so creative with the patterns they see. I think we need to be a little bit more like that. Today we're going to be looking for some creative patterns. Speaking of trades, real quick, I'm going to pull up some of our big movers here. BYND, super impressive, and definitely the one that I am the most bummed that I missed yesterday while I was driving. It was unfortunate. It was unfortunate. I was driving all day. I was driving from Iowa back to Colorado yesterday, and I'd keep tabs on it on my phone, but I didn't really have the charts up in front of me. Didn't feel confident enough to buy any just driving down the road. So, you know, it's a phenomenal move. Congrats to all those who crushed it yesterday. I got some of my friends swinging it into today as well. We got Nerve. I want to take a look at some of these other ones. Honestly, we don't have that many big gappers right now. This is YDKG. That to me, that's probably some Chinese stock. Spewer, that was a nice move. It's faded quite a bit off its highs. We got a couple other IFBD and RYOJ. This is a mover from last week. This is that Japanese stock. The rest of these, I mean, we'll take a look at GSIT too. I know GSIT was a nice mover yesterday, just based on Twitter. Yeah, okay, so some nice moves. To be honest with you, again, this is actually the first time I personally am even taking a look at any of these trades. So there we go. My computer's acting all sorts of funky. Probably because it's the first time. Whoops. This is the first time it's been turned on in 2 months almost. I just got back home for the first time in quite a while. So we'll take a look at some of these over here. We got JFBD, Spewer. Man, I got too much stuff open. Let's get rid of the ones that I don't like quite as much. Nerve, what's Nerve? Financing. It's a drug. Oh, it's a 5-cent stock. No, thank you. BYND, really nice. Yeah, I mean, BYND is probably like the primary focus of the day today, to be completely honest with you. Oh, I know what's happening. Oh, this isn't going to be fun. You know what? I may need to open up a different platform because I think it's my computer that's acting all funky. So yeah, maybe let's do this. Let's open up a different browser or a different trading platform here. Let's do this. And okay. So it might not be my stocks trade. It might just be post update. Okay. Well, in that case, I'll keep this open. Also, you know, the AWS problem yesterday, I know was not, it hit stocks to trade, the Amazon Web Services. There was a problem there. It is what it is. It's part of the game. Cool. All right. Well, in this case, we'll keep an eye on BYND is going to be my top watch. Now, what I'm looking for on this is a dip and rip, kind of similar to what we saw yesterday. But ideally, that move, if we get that dip, I would expect that rip to come quite a bit sooner than like a midday thing. I think this is we're probably pretty close to a short-term top. We're up, a few 100% as the last couple of days. So, yeah, and again, I'm just getting here right now. This is a little fresh to me. Normally, I've got a lot more time to prepare, so we're just gonna probably take it quite light today. I don't like to if I'm in a position right where if I'm just getting back into the groove, I'm not gonna push it pedal to the metal or anything. I'm just gonna if there's an easy trade, I'll look to take that. And BYND to me is the one that probably would be the easiest if there is a trade to have on it. It's going to really take a dip and rip, like I said, to see anything meaningful for me. But this is up from 50 cents to hit 250 this morning. It's up 500%, So I want to be cautious with it. I want to give it some time to play out before just looking to attack pedal to the metal or anything. Let's put this up over here, maybe. Cool. Buy a new one. You have all that money and still use a computer from 2008. Hey, this is a good computer. I bought this one a couple of years ago. But you should see my laptop. My laptop it's not that old. I bought it in 2021. So it's only 4 years old. But the thing, it's so massive. It's huge. I get made fun of with all my trader friends whenever I'm hanging out with them because the battery pack is literally like, I don't know, probably it's bigger than my face. It's huge. And everyone's like, just get a new one. But I'm like, this thing has gotten me through so much. I made so much money on this laptop that I can't just get rid of it in good conscience, I've taken some great trades from that laptop. It's gotten me through some tough times. So I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it. But it is a nice laptop. It's just huge. I had to close my I thought you said close your eyes and reopen it. BYND dipped to around the 205 area. Gosh, this is annoying that I can't. This post update is a little frustrating here, I will say. Maybe we do move it over. Maybe we move it over to the Thinkorswim platform for now, just so we can see this a bit easier. Let's go over here. There we go. So on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll have the daily chart. On the left-hand side, it'll be the intraday. I just like to get rid of a couple of things. All right, now let's put up BYND. Here we are. I mean, you almost called that dip to a T there, by the way. It was 206 that it dipped out at. Not really a long enough dip for me quite yet. This is a very short-term dip. Computer is definitely also giving me problems today, I will say. Okay. So BYND, we're starting to get that rip here. Very close to pre-market highs. I'll be the first person to tell you that this is, I mean, a nice little scalp area there through that high a day area, 232. Not something I'm ready to get aggressive on. To me, that feels like we're probably more likely to trap longs short term. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I would just rather see this set up a bit better first. Yeah, big volume BYND. That's a lot of volume, especially if we look at this on a 15-minute chart, right? I mean, biggest 15-minute volume candle here of its run so far, and it's up at highs, right? This is where things get interesting. We're only 5 minutes into the day, and it is the highest 15-minute volume candle so far, and it's up at highs. Now, if this was just absolutely ripstick, well, it kind of is in a way. I mean, it did go from 205. It ran 50 cents a share. Lots of range, right? But in the same breath, when we get that much volume that high up, I tend to think it's, very likely could be a short-term top. Not going to, again, I'm not going to sit here and not trade it. But it needs to confirm more. It needs to hold a little bit better for me right now. If I was in from yesterday, different story. If I was swinging this, totally, pardon me, totally different story. That just isn't the case right now. We don't, another thing to remember too, like, we're basically, now if I were to get rid of after hours and pre-market, because that's not a lot of volume here. So if we just get rid of this for just a second. We look at our support and resistance levels by volume. We're really high above it. To me, this is a gap up breakout, right? This is a gap up breakout, which we've talked about before. They're not bad, but generally speaking, they fade a lot further than expected. The only difference here is that this is a real company. From my understanding, their debt restructuring is very similar to the Carvana debt restructuring that happened a few years ago, and that led to their stock going from like $5 a share to hundreds of dollars. I think $400 plus a share. I don't remember the exact price, but where am I looking to enter? It's not an exact price. It's the price action that we see here, right? So I want to see how our volume's holding up, how the stock is holding up relative to its low a day. So it's not an exact price that I'm sitting here saying I need to wait for it to hit this price to enter. It's saying to myself, all right, I want to see this kind of price action. And what that price action I'm going to be looking for is going to be a combination of, number one, consolidation, ideally consolidation above VWAP. And two, I would love to see a fake breakdown attempt on it if I'm going long on this, right? I'd love to see it try to break down and then it can't. Now, what I'm nervous about happening right here, why I don't want to just buy straight up strength into this, is because first of all, we're already well above this breakout level on the multi-day time frame. However, we're also very close to pre-market highs here at 250. What I would not want to see is a fake breakout through pre-market highs then slam, because all that does is traps a lot of longs, right? iBio, I'm seeing IBIO. We'll take a quick look at that. Oh, wow. Beautiful move. Take a look at the daily here. Daily almost looks just like the 15-minute. Beautiful. Yeah, that's a great move. It's a great look to it here. It's definitely someone worth keeping an eye on, I think, at this point. Excuse all the sniffles. Again, I've just been battling a cold for like a week straight, and I'm assuming the lack of sleep probably isn't helping. The 27 hours of driving, the little sleep. I was wondering, do you always wait for a retracement on a breakout? It depends on the style of the breakout, right? On something like BYND, when we gap up through the breakout, yeah, I'm going to look for a pullback on that first. I'm going to look for consolidation. If it's a multi-day, it's been setting up, for multiple days at a time. We haven't actually broken out. It's not a gap up. It's just very organic intraday action. I'm not going to wait for a retracement. In fact, I'm probably going to buy before the breakout, right? Example, one trade I did take yesterday was Kook. Now, this wasn't a super high volume trade, but, right, you could argue that the breakout level here at roughly 83 cents, right? But I'm buying in here, in this like 79-cent level. So it's a little bit different in that sense than something like BYND, where we've already, in a way, we've already broken out on our kind of multi-day time frame here. Buy Nerve now. Buy it now. Really? Nope. I would say not, probably. U.S. stock trader. Listen, it could work great. I hope it works for you. This, to me, listen, here's the problem with something like Nerve, in my eyes. The only clean action that it had was 18 minutes of its trading so far was clean action, right? 18 minutes. That's the only action I look at here and say, yep, that was good. The rest of it kind of sucks. Like, other than from 8 a.m. to 8:18, nice. You get this little move here from 8:45. It ran $1 a share. That's fine. And now it's just going sideways, right? We already broke out of this downtrend here. And this is all we can do? I don't know. Not my cup of tea. That's not my cup of tea. You got sick in the New York weather. It showed last week each session. Yeah, I know. Oh, well, hey, I was wrong. Nerve, I was wrong. That was nice. Nice $1.50 a share move. I'll be the first U.S. stock trader. Man, people love to be the I told you so people. That's good. I'm glad it worked for you. I have no edge on a trade like that. There's no edge for me. They're 250-50. When it doesn't work, they slam the same way they go up. But nice trade. Congrats. It's not my kind of setup. For me, that is an avoid, but nice trade. I'll give you the I told you so if you want it. How far above the breakout do you know you have confirmation, and do you try to buy before that high? How far above the breakout do you know you have confirmation? Again, it's not, I wish this was a science, or I could say it's 18% above the breakout. It totally depends on the stock. It depends on the setup. It depends on the type of breakout. It depends on, am I buying a consolidation break? Am I buying a high-a-day break? Am I buying a multi-day breakout? And where's the next level of resistance? It's not so much a science as it is understanding the different types of breakouts that we have. For a multi-day breakout, for example, right? Far above the breakout, you have the confirmation, you buy. I will say, generally speaking, right? So if it's a day one gapper, I'm almost never buying, or really a gap up at all. If it's a gap up stock, I'm generally not just buying on the high a day break, right? BYND, not just buying the high a day break there. Unless we set up for a bit longer, right? So if we had set up for a while, made a few fake low break attempts, then maybe I'd consider it. But just one dip and then one rip on this, it worked quickly, shortly. But Nerve is still going up. Yeah, Nerve is at 9. I know. My main focus right now is BYND. Nerve, I'm glad it's working, but it's not my kind of trade, right? That's the other thing too, right? I know there are just a lot of trades out there. And if you want to trade the hottest thing that's moving, go for it. That's not normally my style. U.S. stocks trader said now it's going to 12. To 12 soon. To 12 for sure. Let's see. Nerve to 12 soon. Where do you think Nerve is going again? What price? I'm just messing with you. Again, congrats on the trade. Jim liked it. BYND. So what did I say here, right? Looking for fake breakdowns. That's exactly what we just got. Now, again, this isn't the most clear level. It's not the most defined level of support here, but We get this fake breakdown. We hold VWAP. Now we got this little micro trend forming. So an area here through 236, I don't think is probably the worst idea. Do not trust Oracle signals. No, it's not that I don't trust Oracle signals. It's just, I always tell traders this. For traders who use Oracle, I think it is a phenomenal tool, especially for those of you guys who are just getting started, need help with the right stock selection, need help finding the right entry prices. But to me, it's like training wheels, right? They're phenomenal for helping you learn to ride that bike. And they're going to get you. You could ride 20, 30, 40 miles with training wheels if you wanted to, right? But if you want to start doing tricks, right? If you want to start doing wheelies, if you want to start doing mountain biking, if you want to start trying to get complex with it, you're probably not going to use training wheels on some of those. So basically, the more, right, the more you get into trading, the more you're going to start learning your own setups, your own style. So it's not that I don't trust Oracle trade signals. It's just I have my own trading style now. I've used Oracle before. I use it to help look for the right trades for me. If I've got, if I want new trade ideas, BYND, I'm not loving this. US Stocks Trader, I'm starting to think you've got a Discord room. I'm starting to think that this guy is I will say Nerve honestly does look like it could go to 12 at this point. I'm not knocking that. Like it's it is a really good look at this point. It's just I'm kind of just poking fun at US Stocks Trader here. I don't think I've gotten a message from US Stocks Trader in the last 10 minutes that had anything to do without Nerve going to 12. Not even Nerve. Not even saying, oh my gosh, Nerve setting up this great structure. It's just Nerve to 12. I don't like to try to predict prices either. Because what happens then is that you stop letting the price action dictate your trade. And you start letting a price target dictate your trade. And I understand there's some controversy. Hold everything until your price target or trade the price action. I think there's a hybrid approach. Compound trades. I don't know. It could be anything. I don't know what price of Nerve is going to, but I think there's someone in here. There might be a guy in here who has a prediction on a price. I just don't remember. I think he said 2. Maybe it was 1. But anyways, I don't like to, again, the reason you're not hearing me talk about like a price target on BYND is because it's so dependent on, in my opinion, what the stock does leading up to the entry, right? So at this point, we're getting these little fake breakdowns. We're in a downtrend right now, right? In fact, I would go as far as to say that this is probably no longer the trend I want to be looking at. I'm saying we're actually probably forming a bit of a bull flag here. So it's going to be very dependent to me on what we get after this action. Do we set another higher low and then try to go higher, right? So if we break out of this little downtrend, which we would call a bull flag, right? Do we break out only to make new lows, or do we break out and now make a higher low? I think we're kind of clearly setting this low here around VWAP 218. What does the rest of this looks like, right? And I mean, because here's the truth, right? On the daily chart, I would say we've got some short-term resistance here around 265, right? And probably a little bit more here around 3. So am I going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, and see, that's a bummer. We're just not able to break out of this downtrend quite yet. I'm also super dehydrated, so this water is tasting like candy right now. It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, BYND just more new lows. Unfortunately, right now I'm having to lean away from this trade idea being, the right trade. We're just dipping too far. Kyle said there were warrants around 2. Does that make me more skeptical to buy now? Normally, I'd say the answer is yes. The thing is, this traded 1 billion shares yesterday, right? Over a billion, 1.2 billion shares. So I'm not going to be super worried about dilution in a trade like this, just because there is so much volume. Dilution really only matters if the dilution itself, the selling pressure, is going to have the ability to drop the price. But when you have so many buyers, that dilution, at least in the short term, can just get soaked up. And right now, I mean, we're trading 8 million shares a minute, right? So, I mean, even if they had, let's say they've got like 100 million warrants, we can probably assume number one, I don't even know how many warrants they have. I should take a look. Let's use a small number. Let's say you got 50 million warrants, right? That is 10% of what we've traded in 20 minutes, right? This will probably trade at, 500 million shares, if not more than 500 million shares today. It could trade another billion shares. If we start selling off, maybe we tap out at like 700 million, right? So if they got 50 million shares to sell, they could sell that in a matter of an hour or two, and just organic buying. 9 million warrants. There you go. That's 1 minute of volume on this. So I'm not that worried right now on that. Personally, it's going to create some selling pressure, sure. But you could theoretically have a retail trader that buys 9 million shares of this pretty easily today. Whoops. Sorry, let's turn this phone off. Hey, U.S. stocks trader. Oh, BYND. That's a bummer. Yeah, it's a bummer. Fantastic. U.S. stock trader gave me his first non-price target comment today. Fantastic. There's no price target in that. I love it. I love it. Yeah, so I mean, at this point, BYND, we broke lows, right? We broke low a day. I'm not. Nerve is now at 12. Bryce, you're missing it. I told you guys, listen, I know this is a foreign concept to some people, and it did hit 1250. Congratulations. But that does not mean that I'm going to take a trade on everything that moves. This is great. I'm glad it's working. It's just not my style of a trade, right? A broken clock is right twice a day. And that's not to say that this isn't other traders' setups. I'm not going to say that this is a broken setup. It's to say it's a setup I personally am not that big of a fan of, right? Small size, Bryce. Yeah, listen, that's great. And again, go trade small size on a setup if you're trying to learn it. This isn't really a setup at this point right now. I don't feel like I need to have 50 setups in my tool belt, right? I see trades like this just the same. That unfortunately, it's not the fact that the trade didn't have the potential to work. To me, it was the fact that the risk, also in my opinion, the risk of this not working was pretty equal to the risk of this, the reward of this trade working. And generally speaking, we see a lot of slippage the same way that if you're short this stock, you see a lot of slippage on this. If you're trying to cover here at 760, there's probably a good chance you didn't get filled until 820s, 830s. Whereas if I'm long this and it dumps and my stop is, say, 674, there's probably a good chance I don't get filled somewhere until the 630s or 640s. I've been in that position too many times. I've lost. I can tell you, trade it was SGOC, where it was this nearly identical setup, by the way, nearly identical setup. And that was the trade that kind of scarred me from wanting to take this type of a setup. I lost $9,300 on it when my risk was $5,000, right? It was just the slippage was way too aggressive. Control your show. No, I will let this get out of order. BYND, by the way, fake low day breakdown. We got that fake breakdown that I'm looking for here. Now it's a matter of seeing, do we reverse trend? Again, I'm not going to rush into this trade. Where in the world is Monaco? Did he get a job at the Tickler's factory? Monaco actually has a good excuse for being gone today. He's at a trader meetup right now. He's meeting up with some of his trading friends down in Texas. So we got to give him we'll give him a real pass on this one. Hit my gavel. I'll hit the gong. It's back. You shall be silenced for talking about nerve. That was really loud. That hurt my ears. Thou shalt be silenced. Order in the court. Gosh. I feel like I'm the Genghis Khan of trading today, killing trade ideas left and right. Jara, I'm screaming. That's hilarious. Oh, I feel like I'm back. I feel like I have control. How do you get so patient? By hitting the gong when people make me impatient. That's how I do it. Gosh, I feel alive. Waiting for BYND. Oh. And I got the sniffles. You guys are making me bring order to this trading session while I'm sick. My head is pounding. Deep breath. Exhale. Deep breath. Exhale. Okay. I'm back. How do you get so patient? You know, it was a long process, to be completely honest with you. I feel for the first time in probably 7 years, and this is new of the last couple of months. And I think there's a lot of it that actually had to do with just being here and having to show you guys, not having to, but like feeling an obligation to show you what good trading should be like. That I've actually felt the real desire. I'm okay with missing a trade now. It's okay. We're in a market where there are so many trades. The best thing you can do is just learn. I'd rather miss right now. I'd rather miss the trade and learn than take a bad trade and lose, right? Two types of L's. Which one do you want to take? Because when I'm really confident in the setups that I'm ready to take, I'll hammer them. I'll slap them, right? But I just don't want to. I don't want to go into a trade that I'm not confident on and oversized. I've just done that so many times. And so for me, I think a really big factor of it, obviously, is just like being on here on this stream. But then also, you know, starting a couple of months ago, I just was going through a period in my trading. This was probably in April and May, where I did really well at the end of last year. And you gotta realize, right? So you guys have seen me traveling around in my trading truck. I call it my mobile trading station. And I took a lot of time off of trading to build that thing. I built it from scratch with my brother. I wanted a new hands-on challenging project. And what I found is that trading is not like riding a bike. You know, I took realistically, and I'm not going to say I didn't take a single trade kind of thing, but in terms of taking trading seriously, I definitely took a break from that. It was more just kind of here and there taking a trade. And so what I'm getting at though is that when I came back to really kind of full-time trading again, I was struggling a little bit. I was not, the setups that I was trading before I started building my truck, they weren't playing out with the same level of follow-through and the same level of effectiveness. And so it changed the way that I could trade those setups. And I went through this period of struggling for probably 2 or 3 months. And then I really started working on a different trading strategy, trading style. And then I went through another funk. This would have been at the midway through 2024. So in August of 2024, I really kind of found the style of trading that was working for me. And so from like August until February, I was doing really well. In April and May, I hit another one of those funks. And what I did was I just went balls to the wall in reviewing, in charting, and just really kind of redefining the way that I traded that setup, those setups that I had been really working on the last 8 months. Is I felt like I'd gotten kind of complacent with them. I wasn't putting in new work in seeing the new patterns that were forming. I wasn't trading them as effectively as I think I should have been. And so from like May into June and July, I just went ham on charting and seeing to myself, and there's a full circle here in just a minute. And what I found is that a lot of my entries were just being impatient and feeling like there's a little bit of FOMO. And it wasn't that I was wrong on the setup itself, as I was wrong on the timing of that setup. And so it kind of just looking at that data in front of me. I mean, I was going I'd go, trade all day. And from there, I would go and, do another 3-4 hours of review at night, for a couple of months. I'm not gonna say it was like every single day, but it was a lot. It was realistically probably 20 hours of charting every week. And just literally, I told my girlfriend after I'd taken just a stupid loss, like this one week, and I had this red week. I mean, I don't even think it was a red week. I think it was like a break-even week. I had a really good start, and then I ended the week a little bit rough, and I ended at like basically break even. Maybe I made a couple $100, but it felt like a red week. And I was like just sitting outside of my girlfriend, and I think we were having I had an old fashioned, and I was like, I just need to go stare at my losses until my eyes bleed out. Right. And so that's where I start looking and seeing like, okay, I'm getting really impatient on my entries, and that's leading me to cutting before my risk level. And it's funny that one key part of your trading will generally be the reason that the other parts start to fail. Right. For me, the impatient on the entries start leading to impatient on my exits. Right. And so long story short, it was just a lot of review, a lot of me just sitting there and looking at what am I doing wrong? So anyways, yeah, that's my long answer to that question. I think it's a good one. And it's something that I definitely struggled with for a long time. And the last thing I'll say to that is what I started doing was not only looking at like my recent wins and losses, but also going back to periods where I felt really confident in my trading. And even then, I look back at some of those trades and it's like, wow, I could have so much better performed with just a little bit more patience. So yeah. Alejandro says, hey guys, can I trade pre-market at Trade Funder? Yeah, absolutely. 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time, you could trade with Trade Funder. All right. Well, ladies and gents, right now I'm just playing a patience game on BYND. Speaking of patience, really just waiting for this to set up. We're going to see if we can reverse trend here. We tried to break low a day, couldn't break down, but we're also struggling to reverse this trend right now. So I think this is going to unfortunately just require a bit more patience, waiting for this trade setup. Or rather waiting for this trade to set up. So right now, I think it's probably a good time to talk about Trade Funder. I know a couple of you guys. I just saw Devon here said, hey, Bryce, it's me again from Friday. I've set up my Trade Funder and I'm very happy with it. Love to hear that. And I know Alejandro sitting here also saying, wondering about Trade Funder pre-market and everything. I'm seeing questions. How do you turn on pre-market trading? Yeah, listen, go reach out to their support. I could try to walk you through it, but honestly, everyone's going to have different support questions. Just reach out to their support. It's down at the bottom of the page. And just reach out, ask them. It's going to be, there's a button that says ETH, extended trading hours. You're going to want to turn that on and click it. It's funny. I would say this chat has had a lot of orders since I hit the gong. I might have to do that every time. Yeah, listen, how do I see stats on the app? Again, reach out to their support. I actually don't use if you're talking about like a phone app, I don't use the phone version. I just use the web version. Reach out to the support, as Devon said. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Their support responds very quickly. Yeah, they respond like you'll probably get a message back in like 20 or 30 minutes at the longest. So anyways, we're seeing questions about payout from Trade Funder. Let's go on and talk about Trade Funder, because to be completely honest with you, BYND, if this sets up right, is probably the epitome of a perfect Trade Funder trade, right? It's a slower moving stock that's trading a ton of volume, that's got really tight risk levels, right? I mean, to be completely honest with you here, this is a really cool example, because I'll sit here and say, first of all, there's a pretty good justification, I would say, to try a 220 entry on this. An entry at $2.20 a share. These wicks are incorrect, by the way. So the high here is 220. That'd be the reversal of this trend. And so, I mean, we've got a position right here where a trader could theoretically take, 7,000 or 8,000 shares if they're very confident in this. They've got your $1,000 daily risk that we're going to talk about here on Trade Funder in just a second. And that's roughly risking $1,000 for buying that breakout here in a 7,000 share position. And by the way, this is why we stay patient. Oh, yuck. Tried to break that trend. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. That's unfortunate. That is a pretty big failed trend break here. I don't like that. But, if this was a trade that is going to work, and it still could, I'm just not ready. Yeah. I'll be here. Let me drop that link now for you, by the way. Let me go ahead and drop that link for those of you guys that are telling me right now you're already ready to go. So yeah, again, with a trade like this on BYND, right? If this trade works, we're in a position now where a trader can very realistically take, even if it's just 5,000 shares, 220, and even if they wanted to risk low a day, right? This is a trader who's confident in their trading. I would not recommend trading a lot of size if you're not yet confident in your trade strategy. But if you've been trading well, you've got normally a small account. But this is a trade that you would take all day long on your trade setup. You're in a position right now where a trader could take, say, 5,000 shares at 220 on that breakout, risking low a day. Where now, if this trade works, I mean, we'd expect to see 250 plus on this. We're talking about what could be a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 win. If that trade does end up working. At this point, what I would be looking for is a breakout over this 224 level. Over 224, we're breaking out over the fake breakout. We are re-breaking into an uptrend. We've held our lows. That, to me, at this point, is going to be where I'm looking to take an entry on this trade. And so 224 with a risk likely on roughly, 205 area, roughly 20 cents a share worth of risk to start off, ideally can build into a better position with a better risk level. But this is a trade I think is kind of perfect for something like Trade Funder. And I love what Jack says. I love Trade Funder, but I will warn you all, watch your size completely. You should not be going in full size to any one trade if you're not yet confident in your trading style, your trading strategy. But we'll come back and check on BYND here in just a minute to see if this does end up presenting a trade. But for those of you guys who are curious about Trade Funder, I've dropped that link in the chat. I'll drop it one more time for you, and we'll come right on over to that page. So this is going to be where you can actually get access. I know some of you are thinking right now, if you've never heard of Trade Funder, Bryce, what in the heck are you talking about? What do you mean BYND is a perfect trade for Trade Funder? What is this? So yeah, Trade Funder, guys, for those of you who don't know, it's a fully funded trading account. And I'm talking $25,000 of capital with $100,000 of margin. So really awesome structure here. You're getting access to a fully funded trading account that allows you to take bigger positions in trades, freely day trade. You're not subject by the PDT rule, none of that stuff. Because what Trade Funder is looking for are profitable traders, are traders that are going to make them money because they're basically like a prop firm. They're like your brokerage account. And the way that prop firms make money, by the way, they're partnered with literally like the largest prop trading firm in the country, T3, one of the first of their kind here in the United States. Really cool that they've been able to do this. It's because they've got some really legitimate backing. But again, for those of you guys who don't know what a prop firm is, it's basically exactly what Trade Funder is. A group that gives you access to trading capital. And what they're going to do is they make money if you make money. It's a profit split. Now, most prop firms, they do like a 60-40 split or a 70-30 split where you'll keep 60% or 70% of what you make. Trade Funder is doing one of the most generous profit splits of any prop firm. They're doing an 80-20 profit split right off the bat. So if you make 10 grand with Trade Funder, you get to keep $8,000 of it, which I think is more than fair considering they're giving you access to 25 grand to trade with. More importantly, now, I think Trade Funder's normal sign up is already a good deal. So basically, if you were to just go over to their regular page and try to do this yourself, you put in $1,400 plus a $99 platform fee, you'd get access to that 25 grand. Now, with our link, the one I've just put in the chat here, it's going to be a bit better. It's a $600 discount off of their normal sign up structure. You're getting access to Trade Funder for $800 plus that $99 platform fee. So super awesome deal here considering you're getting access to 25 grand. And what this allows you to do is really, I can't tell you how you should trade, but I can tell you what I would do if I were in your position, because this is something I wish existed when I first started trading, especially like these streams too, right? But what I would do is I would look to build that consistency. That's what Trade Funder is looking for anyways, by the way, is consistent traders. I'd look to build that consistency. I'd try to make my $800 back, right? So if I make, $1,000, $2,000, I'd look to pull out my $800, make this investment, risk-free. And from there, the sky is the limit, right? There really, at that point, is no true downside because I've already taken out what I initially put into it. That's my personal strategy, how I would go about and do that if I was just getting started again. But the way you want to do it is up to you, though. Your risk tolerance is completely up to you. Speaking of risk tolerances, though, I should just let you know here that because they're giving you access to 25 grand, I know this is going to sound shocking. They're not going to let you lose it all, right? They're not going to let you put in $800 and they're going to risk 25 grand. That would be like a really bad trade, right? Can you imagine? Can you imagine you went into a trade where you're looking to make $800, but your risk is 25,000? No, they wouldn't do that. So what they're going to do is they've got, I still think, a very generous risk tolerance limit. At the end of the day, it is risk management that's the reason that most traders fail, is just a lack of proper risk management. So that's going to look like two things. Number one, if you lose more than $1,000 in a single day, they're not going to shut off your trading account for good, but they are going to shut it down for the day. And they're going to say, listen, come back tomorrow. You're clearly flustered. You're in a bad headspace. Come back tomorrow. Try again. However, there is a max loss limit. If you lose more than $3,750, so basically if you lose an additional $3 grand than what you put in, they're going to shut off that account. That is that max hard line in the sand where you can't lose more than that, right? Which I think is more than fair because your personal risk is $800. They're basically betting $3,000 on every trader that signs up with Trade Funder. What they're looking for, and they understand. I know people always ask, but Bryce, they say 90% of traders lose. How is this a good model for them? Because the 1 out of 10 traders that does work for them, you got to understand these traders start getting access to $100,000 accounts, $1 million accounts. I think there are traders with Trade Funder that are trading like $10, $20 million accounts. So if they've got a trader who's making them $1 million in a day, they're okay to try to go through a couple of traders who aren't going to make money to find the few that will. And so whether or not you want to go to that level and end up getting access to $100,000, $1 million, $10 million account, or if you make like, let's say a trader makes like 100 grand and then they say, nope, that 100 grand is mine now. I'm just going to trade my own account. Whatever you want to do, it's completely up to you. I'm sure Trade Funder would love to see you trading with them still. Or maybe now at this point have two accounts, right? Maybe you use Trade Funder for some of your trades. Maybe use a personal trading account for some of your other trades. That's what I personally do. I like having multiple brokerages depending on the trade that I'm taking. Completely up to you. But my point being is that there are a lot of options and ways to go with this. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think this was an awesome setup. I personally use it myself. So, I mean, like, that should tell you, right? I'm not going to use a crappy broker. I'm not going to use a crappy platform. It's just what I personally like. And so I'm really glad to be able to be partnered with them as a part of Stocks to Trade. That's why I'm here with you right now. I'm part of the Stocks to Trade trading group. We've been around for over 10 years now. We've created an amazing community of traders that have come up through Stocks to Trade. Both me and Matt did personally. And so Trade Funder partnered with Stocks to Trade because we've been providing world-class trading education to traders for over a decade now. And so they're going to take the bet that if you're here right now, if you're part of that Stocks to Trade community and you're learning from us, there's probably an increased chance of you finding that trading success. I'm not going to guarantee that you will. It's going to be completely up to you. You know how hard you're working at this, and you know if this is the right fit for you. I'm not going to say it's a perfect solution either, right? But I will say I think this is probably as close to perfect as it gets for the trader who is looking to get above the PDT, who's looking to get access to more trading capital, who knows that they're on the cusp of success, but they need a little bit of a crutch. I think this is where Trade Funder is a great way to come in. Or if you're already doing well, right, you just want access to more money and a different trading account, what I do, still a phenomenal deal right there in and of itself. So I'm going to let you click that link in the chat here and see if this is the right fit for you. If you've got any questions out of Trade Funder, for Trade Funder rather, right at the bottom of the page to the link I just sent you, their email's right here, support@tradefunder.com. Shoot them an email. They'll get back to you like probably within 10 or 20 minutes. But Jimmy said Trade Funder was a big help with my PDT rule, which bust lose your FOMO. I see the great change my attitude. Thanks for bringing Trade Funder into our life. Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, listen, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's the perfect solution for everybody, but I can tell you personally that when I first started trading and really started to finally get it down, right, when I started to understand the different patterns and I was confident in my trades, but I can only take 3 trades a week, that was a huge issue with my trading is because like it induced my FOMO, right? Like it made my FOMO that much bigger because I knew that if I missed that trade, I only had a couple more attempts. Or if there were a lot of trades happening, I had to try to think of which one was going to be the best. Now I'm okay to just take different stabs at different trades if it's a setup that I feel confident in, right? That's a huge difference of being over the PDT is like, I don't need to go full size into every trade, but if there is a setup that I am confident that it could work here, but it's not an A+ setup, I can still take that trade. Maybe with smaller size. If it doesn't work, I just get out quickly. You can't do that when you're over the PDT, right? So anyways, that's your homework is you'll click on that link that I just dropped in the chat. Also, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, the link actually should be right in the description. So you can also click there. Drop in the chat for you as well. But yeah, go ahead, see if it's a good fit for you. And if you got any questions, literally just ask Trade Funder. They're going to let you know any answer to any question you've got. But I've had nothing but I've got nothing but love for Trade Funder. They've been really a great solution for a lot of traders that I see here. And I mean, it's been a huge help for me too, just to have access to another trading account that I can confidently take trades in. It removes a lot of emotion from my trades when I'm trading with Trade Funder, when I'm sizing in to these different trades. So again, not going to sit here and tell you that it's your perfect solution. Only you're going to be able to make that distinction. But I would highly encourage you to go check it out and see if it is something that you feel like could be a fit for you. Anyways, guys, that's not all I've got for today. BYND, unfortunately, not working. That patience did not pay off. We didn't end up getting a trade on it. But, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And like I said, too, I showed up today very late. It's been a long day, but we never had to worry about buying. It never broke that 224 price level. We're starting to get quite an aggressive sell-off here. So at this point, probably going to be a dud for at least a little bit. We'll see if it tries to reclaim. But I mean, it already tried to break over that trend line, and we just couldn't see any follow through. So for me, that tells me all I need to know for right now. And so for me, I'll be looking to avoid this unless the trend changes later. So anyways, guys, please get some rest today. Got to get rid of that cough, take a vitamin, and chill, brother. I'm with you. I know. I'm going to try to do some rest and relaxing today. I'm not going to trade too aggressively. If anything, honestly, now that my BYND trade idea is kind of done, unless something really new and exciting pops up, it's probably just not going to take too many trades today. So anyways, y'all, I'll catch you guys back here tomorrow. I hope you guys are all having a great day, and I hope you're getting something great out of this. Once again, that link is in the chat. The link is in the description. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, and it is now in the chat once more. Catch you guys back here tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. Bye.